One of the country presidents from my area, the Africa Middle East region, Chef Isaac from Ghana, to convene an African forum. I said, I will not convene an African forum. You will convene an African forum. You will decide what you want to talk about. I'll facilitate a room full of like-minded people and people that are interested, a couple of microphones, some good music, and people that want to hear what you guys would like to talk about. Also, Sean Smith's with us from South Africa. Sean runs a culinary school, but spends most of his time either in Togo, Rwanda, Liberia, Ghana, or where were you the other day? Lesotho. I mean, if you watch him, you know, we're going to have to put a tracker on him like a turtle. Yeah, you can see where this guy goes, yeah? And Sean also works with the Worldchefs, but also with the World Skills, yeah? But it's people like Sean also that inspire me because he ventures out and he goes north or east or west, yeah? A lot of work with West Africa, yeah? Liberia, Togo, Ghana, Botswana, Nigeria, Rwanda, yeah, Rwandan Chefs Association. There can't be an association, but can be a club, can be a group, but can't be called an association. And it's all these things that Chef Isaac and Sean and Chef Alex Yamar would like to talk to you about, but also to get somehow some synergy happening. And yesterday we had a bit of synergy with a culinary school up in Limerick in Ireland who said that they would assist Liberia, yeah? How they're going to assist, I'm not too sure, but I know what Alex needs. Alex knows what he needs. But I think what we as Worldchefs associations, national member countries that have been around much longer than 3 years, 4 years now, as a member country, in Ghana, 2 years, 3 years in Liberia. South Africa, 27, 30 nearly. When we started in the UAE, we always looked towards South Africa for guidance, maturity. We looked to Singapore because of the length of time they'd operated their associations. We have Chef Manjit Gill, who runs an incredibly large association in India, which is a huge country with a huge amount of associations. So he would be someone that would be interesting to listen to on how he coordinates. How many dialects in India? Countless. I mean, the language alone is a challenge in India because there's so many of them, yeah? I mean, I work with many Indian nationals here. Sometimes we have Bengali boys that don't speak Hindi, and the Malayalam boys, they don't speak Hindi, so how do they speak to each other? And they only speak in broken English, yeah? So there's a lot of difficulty and challenges that we all face, but the idea of the next 50 minutes, 60 minutes, and I'm going to hand over to Sean and Isaac to tell you what they would like us to help them with. Is the gist of the African Forum this afternoon, Sean, Isaac, okay. Yeah? Yeah. Feel free. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is yours.
I just want to get the...
Questions, comments, whatever you want. I have a preponderance of microphones somewhere. I'll go running up and down the aisles, yeah, so that we can... push all those things out of the way, mate. I'm sorry I didn't get my stage ready. So please talk to the gentleman, give advice, give ideas, ask questions, and let's see how we can rise together.
Awesome. Thank you, Andy. We're going to do a presentation, and then after that, then try and open up to discussion. So the presentation is just ready to kind of bring you up to speed with where we are. We have been introduced, and we on that theme. So basically, rising and growing Africa together for the Worldchefs community. This is what we're really want you to all get involved with. This is not just for Africa, but this is for the whole community of World Chefs. Africa, as you know, is the second largest continent after Asia in terms of size, covers 1/5 of the total land surface of Earth. It's bounded by various seas and oceans, and it's a very diverse continent, from north to south to east to west. China is about 9.6 million kilometers squared. The US is about 9.8, Europe is about 10.18, and Africa is 30.37. So that means that Africa is bigger than China, the USA, and Europe all put together. However, on many maps, the projection that's used is often from the Northern Hemisphere, and Africa is often misrepresented as being incredibly small. The true size of Africa is not really reflected on most maps that we see in the world. So if you understand that the Africa is 3 times the size of China, Africa is 3 times the size of the whole of Europe, and is 3 times the size of the United States. So that is really what we're looking at, as a huge continent. One of the funny things when I travel, and I come from South Africa, and yes, I know a lot of Africa, but often people will say to me, I've got a friend, he's in Kenya. And they don't understand, Kenya is like literally 2 United States away in size. It's nowhere near where I live. But people have got no concept of that true size of Africa. The other important thing is Africa has 1.3 million inhabitants. It's got just a little less than China. China has 1.4 billion inhabitants. But the thing with Africa is we have a very young population and a population that's set to grow. So Africa, by 2050, is going to reach 2.5 billion people. Currently, as of 2020, 50% of all Africans are under the age of 20 years old. So if you think about half of Africa is less than 20. And those are people that are ready to enter into a career, who need skills development, who want to grow up, create a family, feed their family, and develop. So we sit in a very privileged position in Africa, where our people are young, energetic, and we are set to grow into huge numbers. And really the future for us is Africa. We're very, very passionate about what's happening in Africa. Africa is developing quickly in terms of hospitality and tourism. There are lots of hotel chains, restaurant chains, fast food outlets, tourism attractions, all happening. There's a lot of interest in Africa at the moment. Governments are also trying to reshape their destination hospitality tourism recovery plans after COVID to create economic growth. But the problem really resides in the fact that there's still this gap in terms of skill set. There's a lack of skill set in Africa. People are willing, people are able, but they do not have the skills. And skills need to be improved. And from a world skills point of view, that's where I'm really passionate about seeing skills development in Africa, particularly. Within the hospitality sector, chefs play important roles in the food, in providing food just not only for the table, but for their clients. But there are many challenges, and these challenges I think we need to try and draw attention to, because if we don't understand the problems, then we can't really understand the solutions. Chef associations and individuals within Africa and abroad have been working hard to try and reshape people's mindsets, highlight job opportunities and careers in hospitality and tourism, as chefs, as cooks, as in various food service capacities. But it's been very much done at an individual level. Some chef associations are starting to get on board, but it's been very isolated. We need to see that change. Worldchefs and other partners also, though, through the networks, are educating society and stakeholders within the value chain. And we are very grateful for Certainly, as you'll see, Chef Najid and Chef Ilkin from Azerbaijan, who have been investing their time also in coming to Africa and helping with our rebuilding of or the building of our associations. Currently, in Africa and Middle East are merged together in the continental region with 16 members, of which Africa has 8 members, and of those 8, 5 are sub-Saharan. So south of the Sahara, we have Ghana, Liberia, Mauritius, Namibia, South Africa. North, we have Egypt, and Morocco and Tunisia. So in Africa, there's 46 other countries that are yet to be reached that aren't members of Worldchefs, and that's really our goal, is to grow the membership and to grow our network and to grow development and upskilling. Just to give you a little bit of an indication of in the sub-Saharan African area, there are various chef associations that are on the Africa Chef platform. What we've done is Chef Isaac and myself, we started off an Africa Chef platform in 2019, and we really have tried to bring in as many associations as possible. And then where there are no associations, we've gone there to actually start associations and to begin that process of building associations in countries where there's nothing. There are chefs, but they're not working together. There's no networking, there's no growth, there's no development. So there is a fair amount of new countries here. There are some countries that have not formalized their associations yet. They're still in that process. And that's really what we're talking about today, is to try and encourage everybody to get behind those countries in Africa and help us lift ourselves up by our bootstraps and actually get to the next level. Chef Isaac.
So this afternoon, I think people will say, why are we here? One, we are here for support in terms of how best we can build Africa together. Mm-hmm. We decided to, I and Smith and other people, try to see how best we can able to approach other Africa countries. But we saw a lot of interesting stuff, because we realized that there's a lot of existing associations which are sometimes even finding it difficult, especially those under Worldchefs, finding it difficult to even pay their membership dues and other stuff. Mm. And even in terms of education, some of the continent, like where I'm coming from in West Africa, it's even difficult to get culinary education there to train the people as well as the chefs. So this afternoon we came to you, we want to share our experience with you so that we can all grow together. If there's any support that you want to share with us, why not? We are ready to do that. So these are some of the challenges that we have going through some of the African countries. We have lack of culinary education, which I said the whole continent of West African sub-region, you can't find any proper culinary education within my area. So how do we develop the chefs with that proper logistics and equipment for us to achieve what we need? And when we talk of skills, if you go to the southern part of Africa, they have a lot of experience, they have the infrastructure and other stuff. But, you know, we don't share among ourselves, because South Africa is somewhere, West Africa is also somewhere. So how can we bring this gap for us to make sure that skills development will be a key on our agenda? And in terms of sponsorship too, it's quite difficult, because if you go to my area, which I will use it as an example, we have a lot of food companies, but they are like, why do we need to support chefs? For what? So it's sometimes very difficult for us to get sponsorship to fund most of our association's activities. And grants from government and other agencies are also very difficult for us to. But we put this one because lack of networking and team building is one of the challenges. Because we realize that, like I said, we have South African Chefs Association, who came around 1975.
74.
So 74. So we were like, they should embrace us for us to make sure that we all work together. But it's like we don't interrupt to each other. We don't find ourselves. So how best can we, after today, can we merge for us to make sure that we build Africa together?
Yeah.
And infrastructure, and at the same time, one-man show stuff. I think Chef Andy has done a very quite well for us as African continent. Because when I get to Worldchef, I contact a lot of people. We saw a country like Kenya. Kenya is on the world map and a Worldchef with one-man business. So at the end of the day, the masses of chefs are somewhere, and one person is trying to drive the association, one-man business. So we contact Chef Andy. We had a lot of discussion, and as I'm speaking to you, if you go there, Kenya is out of Worldchef because it was only one person who was driving it. And at the same time, you also saw one in Togo. Togo was also being run by one-man person. Meanwhile, we want to bring every chef together. So Chef Andy did a very good job for us to make sure that all those countries will be out of the Worldchef. So we are, this time around, we are here to see how best we can able to help other countries to form, very good associations so that they can able to affiliate with the Worldchef Society. That's the main reasons why we are here this afternoon. And when we talk of mentorship, like Chef Alex said this yesterday, Liberia has quite of interesting stuff and other this thing, but the skills or the human capacity is what they are lacking. So how best can we pick one or two, especially the existing associations, for them to mentor these people so that we can able to go along with them? So that is what we have, Chef.
The big problem in Africa is, although we are very big and very numerous, we remain financially poor. And I think that's really a lot of the legacy of colonialism that's left over in Africa. And unfortunately, 40% of Africans live below $1.90 a day. Less than $2 a day is what 40% of Africa earn. That's including chefs and cooks and people in food service. And that's including a lot of people in food service, because that's how many people make their livelihoods, is in food in Africa. African people from 35 out of 54 African countries earn on average less than $2,000 a year per person. So there's not a lot of money flowing around in Africa. There are certain countries, like for example, the highest average earning country is Mauritius in the African region, continent. Mauritius is about 8 times higher than in South Africa, the earning capacity. And even South Africa is higher than a lot of places, but there's still not sufficient free flowing finances amongst most African nations. So the reality is most Africans have very stretched financial capacity to contribute to the national associations, let alone actually contribute to international associations like for Worldchefs, which is a euro sort of dollar-based aligned organization. So when you have a country in Europe, for example, putting down euros, it's not a lot of money, but for the same value of money that Africa has to put on the table is a lot of money in terms of what we actually have to gather from people to hand over to the organization. So that is a very, very stretching problem that we have in Africa, and we need to obviously then try to get as many members as we can into organizations so that the burden is split, and that there's everybody's putting from 250, 300 people putting something in rather than 40, 50 people in the association putting something in. But the problem is you've got to then try grow an association from 30, 40 people to 200, 400, 600 people, and you need money to do that. So it's a chicken and egg situation of how do we actually get to the next level of actually helping Africa improve. So we need to provide a sustainable pathway towards developing national associations that have good leadership teams and are sustainable, stable, and strong. And that's really what we would like to try to present with you today. Do you want to do that, Chef?
Chef, like I said earlier, Chef Andy has done a very good job. He normally listens to us when we normally approach him, so that whatever we need in terms of support and other stuff, he can able to do that. I was in Liberia in last year, and by then there was a project that we initiated in Ghana called West African Food Festival. So in 2019, Liberia, 2021,
Yeah.
Liberia hosted that project. And when I get there, I realized that in terms of logistics, for us to compete or for us to organize the program was a challenge. So quickly we need to speak to Chef Andy to make sure that at the end of the day, we are able to go to make sure that we organize a successful program. And by God's grace, Chef Andy shipped a lot of equipment to Liberia, which Chef Alex just received it somewhere last year for us to make sure that that project was done. So from there, we started organizing a lot of events like West African Food Festival so that we can able to engage discussion and at the same time bring more chefs into the discussion. So we hosted a program in 2018 and 250 chefs, which you saw the picture earlier on. Chef Majid from Middle East, Ambrose and other staff, all of them were in Ghana to come and support us. And Chef Azerbaijan, my own man, was also part of the people who visit my country to make sure that we are saying this because, you know, we want you people to come and support us when we are doing a program. And it's not necessary you need to come with money or whatever, but come and be with us, like what we are seeing here today. That is the main reasons why we were able to put this together, so that next time when we invite you to Africa, you can able to make sure that at least you come and support us in our countries. And along the line, we came up with African Chefs Alliance. We realized that most of the countries were like, when you talk of Worldchefs, they see Worldchefs far, far, far away from them. And it's like, we need to get this before we go this, a whole lot of stuff. So that one of the strategies that we developed is that we need to try to find an organization that will be closer to these people. That is where we came about with African Chefs Alliance. And along that, we were able to organize a Chateau Grateau in Togo in 2020 and 2021. So as we are speaking now, we have a new baby, like Togo Chefs Association, which has been under control, and we hope roughly by this ending of this year, they will be affiliated to the Worldchefs Society. Doing all this, we have quite individuals who have devoted their time to make sure that we can able to get these associations together or help them for them to make sure that we will bring a lot of African countries to the Worldchef. Chef Smith, Tandele, Macmona, and Chef Sami, may his soul rest in peace. They were in Botswana to help them to make sure that they will put Botswana Chefs Association together. And as we are speaking now, they have 250 new membership in less than 1 year. And at the same time, I think quite 1 month ago.
1 month ago.
1 month ago, I think it wasn't easy for us to approach Rwandan government to see how best they can able to support us. And I remember by then we were in Togo. So we started a discussion somewhere last year, and along the line, Rwanda Chamber of Tourism said, okay, if you want to help our people, you need to come over. Then quickly we need to organize ourselves so that we can be in Rwanda. And to be frank and honest, it wasn't easy, but we know what we went through. And as we are speaking now, like I said, the same people fly over with their own money and their own resource to Rwanda to make sure that at the end of the day we will get another new baby to the African continent. And as we are speaking now, we have Rwanda as well.
Yeah.
So like I said, we are growing. Right now we have Rwanda, a new association. We have Botswana. We have tried our best through Chef Alet's link. We are putting Sierra Leone also together. So we hope roughly by next 2024 they can able to join us in Singapore.
Singapore, yeah.
So let's go. Yeah, we can go. So, Chef, go to the update.
So the basic progress report on where we're sitting at the moment is that we've been working hard on the formation of these particular 5 countries: Togo, Rwanda, Botswana, the Gambia, and Sierra Leone. We've been pushing into other countries as well, which are close on the heels, places like Malawi, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. But with Kenya, as Chef Isaac said earlier, not one-man shows, but actually trying to find the associations of chefs and get the chefs to work in a team together. And so all these associations, we've basically mentored and we've assisted and it's been individual chefs from various countries, all pooling their resources, pooling their finances, and really with a heart of wanting to see Africa come together and uplifted. These people have gone out. So I just really want to say thank you to all the chefs who've gone to all the different countries on their own, paying their own way, spending their own money to see this dream come true. And that's a very worthwhile thing. So what is the future, and what do we want to discuss about today? Well, through Africa Chefs Alliance and Worldchefs, we want to educate, we want to mentor, and we want to activate chef associations in at least 15 new countries in the sub-region by 2025. That's what we're trying to do as Africa Chefs, is to build 15 new associations over the next few years. We're in the process of 5 of those already, so we basically hope for another 5 in the next 18-month period, and another 5 then in the next 2 years after that. And the thing is that as one association comes on board, other chefs in other countries know about it, hear about it, and say, hey, why can't we have an association too? And then it starts to pick up. And that's literally, it's been snowballing like that. But we need support. We need support from yourselves. We need support from cooperating organizations, individuals, associations, and anyone who loves Africa and wants to see change in Africa. We need World Chef members and anyone interested in Africa to come to visit us, to see our festivals, to join our food festivals, to come and walk the walk that we're walking. Come and see what's happening in Africa and see what you can actually do or help. It's amazing where you think something could be so small can be so big for some people, particularly when you're in Africa and you have not got anything or haven't got a rich history of knowledge of things. So, for example, even just understanding in an association how to, for example, do minutes and action plans and simple administrative tasks. Some of the associations don't even know how to do those things properly. They don't know how to run a food festival or run even the association. They don't understand some of those processes. So a lot of the mentorship is getting alongside and just sharing the ideas and the knowledge and the things that we do, things that we take for granted that everybody should know, but people don't know that. So you actually realize how rich you might be in a certain country of knowing all the stuff, and other countries have no idea, and they don't know how to even put it together, but they want to, and they need your help, and they need your support. What do we need? Well, funding is a big one, obviously. Everything's been self-funded at the moment. Everybody's working on the funding side. Equipment, as Chef Isaac says, in West Africa, there are no culinary schools. There are a few TVET colleges, that push out people who have theory of hospitality and theory of culinary, but it doesn't really actually hit the road where, from a training point of view, from a skills point of view. And so we need equipment, we need schools, we need products like things like medals and trophies and uniforms, something simple. All my old jackets I always take to West Africa. Chef Andili as well, he started that and he encouraged me to, I get hundreds of jackets, as you know, and so I just pack like 12, 20 jackets and off I go to West Africa, always with an extra bag of jackets that I can just give people for jackets, because jackets are something that people just don't have. The other thing is that we try to run competitions, and we'd love, maybe you guys want to sponsor medals or sponsor trophies and things like that. That would be awesome as well. We're also looking for collaborations and partnerships, and this is important because we're not wanting, one of the things that we're very strong against is the expat chefs in countries taking ownership of the associations, because we've seen it time and time again where the expats then leave the country and then there's nobody there to actually run the show. And so if we don't actually build up the local people to actually run the association, it's going to fall apart in the long term. So part of that is also collaboration, partnerships, mentorship, and what we've called like adopt association. There's no reason why some of the associations throughout the world, in Europe, Americas, and in Asia, can twin with associations in Africa and come alongside and actually join, make a partnership and adopt an association and just be there to mentor, just to be there to share, to come support the program. So when there is a food festival in the country or some sort of seminar, come for judging, try competition workshops. There are so many opportunities to get involved in what's happening in Africa. The other thing that we're trying to do is obviously also protect our heritage. And we've created, with the Minister of Tourism from Liberia, Minister Lance Gabon, and we began the Africa Gastronomy Institute. And we've formed the Africa Gastronomy Institute to actually look at fostering the heritage foods of Africa, the recipes and the ingredients. So many ingredients come from Africa and are involved in medicinal purposes and things in country, in the laboratories of Switzerland and Germany, and they make all these wonderful medicines. It comes from African ingredients. And so people don't know that. It's all trade secreted and all the rest of it. But a lot of the foodstuffs of Africa are actually healthy foods to feed people, and you've never heard of those ingredients before. So we want to foster the development of maintaining our heritage and growing the recipes of Africa. And then the last one is obviously what we need is human resources for skills development. And as we heard with Chef Alex, he yesterday spoke about what he needs in the country. He's got equipment, but he doesn't have somebody to come and train. And we need to start looking at things. Maybe we could set up an opportunity for like a 6-week program where we come with various people, come for 6 weeks, set it up and do a 6-week training program. We need to work together to look at structured environment of where we can actually then impact and lift up the economy of each country. It's not just Liberia. There's Sierra Leone, the Gambia, Ghana, Nigeria. There's so many various countries that need assistance. And where do we start? But if we don't tell you what we need, then you won't know what to actually give, and you won't know how to give it or how to actually work together. So this is in West Africa Food Festival 2021. It was held in Liberia and in West Africa, and we had obviously a wonderful show of various countries in the West Africa region. Chef Andili, Chef Maklamula, and myself came from South Africa, and we joined in from South Africa. So how do we get involved? We would like you to contact Chef Andy Cuthbert or through info@africachefs.com and share what you can. I would advise you that you work with us as a team and not go to individual countries, because I think then we can work together and know, because sometimes what happens also is that some countries do something on that side, nobody else knows what's going on, and then it just breaks down in the networking. So we have a WhatsApp platform with about 160 chefs throughout Africa. Some of the countries are formal associations, and some are not formalized at this point. And that basically is where we're at. What I'm going to do is ask them to put up, I've got a slide show which will just run in the background of all the various food festivals that we've been doing in Africa over the last 5 years. And you can just see some of the activity that's been happening in the continent. Again, we have not shared a lot of this with people, so people don't know what's going on out in the countries throughout Africa. But it's exciting. There's a lot of opportunity. And I would like to offer you an opportunity to please add some comment, give us some suggestions. We would like to, any questions, and how do we get 46 new countries in Africa into Worldchefs? How do we develop? How do we educate? How do we grow Africa? So that's the task ahead.
Bravo. I have a few comments from the World Chef side. The gentleman spoke about one-man shows, and I think that's important for World Chefs to understand that there are a number of associations around the world or within our membership that are one-man shows. Yeah. When Ghana came to me, when Alex came to me, I explained what we expect as the World Association, yeah? For me, it's not a numbers game. Just to get 10 more countries or 15 more countries doesn't help, yeah? So with Togo and Kenya, I had to make the decision, which I make, which is fine. But what I liked about the approach from Sean and Alex when they started talking to me about Botswana, and they have this many people, and they have this, and they have this. And if you see this presentation, they're already doing so much in all these countries. But Sean said, no, we'll wait. We'll wait until they're ready to become a member of the World Association. All they need is the guidance and the mentorship at the moment. So I was very appreciative to Sean and Isaac for that, because it's very easy for us, oh, well, there's another 5 members in my area. Wow, I've got more members than him. You know, that's not what it's about. I think the most important thing for me from a World Chef standpoint is to have the National Chefs Association that represents the country working together with the multiple associations that are within that country to have their support, and then also, when they're ready, then they come into the World Association, baby steps. Like Iran, for example, they're an associate member. I've told them you can only be an associate member at the moment. You're not ready to be the national representative of Iran yet. You will get there, but not yet, because you need to show what you can do. Already the West Africa Festival was started in Ghana, then it moved to Liberia, so they're already doing something for the chef community, and that's important for me to make sure that when new countries come in, they've got foundation and they've got some sort of structure already, so they're not flapping about in the breeze.
Correct.
Yeah, and yes, it's great by 2025. 14 countries, yeah? Not 68 countries in 3 weeks, yeah? 2025. If I can ask Eric to say something, because you said something yesterday, you'd been in Ghana. What do you think? Sorry, I'm going to put people on the spot. I'm going to put my Nordic people on the spot in a minute as well.
Excellent. Yeah, I've been chatting with Chef Binta in Ghana for a while, and Alex and Darius in Liberia, and a lot of conversations in South Africa, and have written food strategies all over the world and helped governments and regions and places sort of find their story. And the one thing you guys haven't really mentioned is the government piece, which associations are important, but you've got to have backing, and you can rely on private sector to do some of it without the government support. And I think for Africa, it's going to be about setting some examples of governments that step up first, and then the other ones will start seeing the value in it. But I think the story involves everything from economic development and increased taxes, job creation, export development, food security, food sovereignty. I think all of those are selling features to governments that need to be part of your story as you continue to build this. So those would be something that I would definitely consider, and certainly willing to volunteer my time as I've had conversations to try and make some of this happen.
Yeah.
I think the other big thing that came out at the World Forum of Gastronomy Tourism last year was somebody stood on stage and said, "Can you name 10 African dishes?" And not a single culinary professional in the room could get past 3. I think there's a massive global education piece that also needs to take place.
Very true.
It's hard to go out and raise money when people don't understand it. So that narrative, that education piece also, I think, has to be a foundational part of this before you really go out with this platform as well.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. And was
Sorry,
I the only one in the room that actually heard him say he will volunteer?
Yes, I heard that.
Good man.
Just to also, we forgot to mention that the next WAFest, West African Food Festival, is going to be held in Accra in Ghana from the 17th to the 23rd of October this year. So
Great.
if you are planning on wanting to come, please speak to Chef Isaac, and invitations will be out, and you're more than welcome to come and join us in Ghana in October.
I was chatting with our Nordic friends down the back here, and they already do some interesting programs in Liberia, actually in Ghana for Liberian people, Chef. And he may have a suggestion, or he may have a commitment.
I'm on the spot now, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, we pitched an idea to Worldchefs the other day, and I'm so pleased to hear that what we pitched is actually what you are asking for. We are so many member nations in Europe and all around the world. The Danish Association is almost 100 years old. We have collected so much experience due those times. We'd like to share some of it. We'd like to have not mentorships, but friendships countries. So when you're hitting the wall, so to speak, you can just pick up the phone and say, how can we do this? What are we supposed to be doing now? And we could just say, well, we hit that wall 80 years ago, so this is the way you have to do it. So for each of the European country, it shouldn't be any problem taking on a country in Africa to help them.
Very
and
good.
The suggestion was not just for Africa, it was for every new member who's coming to Worldchef.
Yeah,
But
very good.
we think Worldchef has to be the facilitator of this to make it official.
Yeah.
And making sure that every country is provided for, so to speak. And regarding to the Ghana, we're sending the Danish delegation alongside with the Icelandic in January to Ghana to prepare food and help with how to prepare safe food, and making sure that they have clean water as well.
Excellent.
And we have been doing this for 5 to 6 years now. So I think
Nice
the
to see
next
some
step
collaboration.
would be very logical to do. And I think we have to make sure that we help with the information that we got. How to attract sponsors, how to prepare competition food, and not just really good food, but competition food
Correct.
when you're entering into competitions as well. Because it's just an entirely different game. So we have so much information. I think it's our privilege to be able to spare a little bit of that.
Can I ask, thank you, Chef. Can I ask Lynn? Lynn, can you make a few notes for me? Sorry to put you on the spot, but that's what I do. Commitment. As Our Nordic friends have committed to come in January, which they're planning to do as well. I'll commit to the Nordic people from Worldchefs, as I'm the continental director for our region, that I will commit to driving the program forward to facilitate from Worldchefs, and we do it as a pilot program. So 2 commitments, Lynn. One from the Nordic chefs to go in January and cook with in their refugee camp, I believe it is, in
Yes, it is.
Ghana.
Yeah, just on the border into Ghana.
And the second one will be is how we can work together as the continental region of Africa, Middle East, with the Denmark and the Nordic countries on how we can support and facilitate and twin, or whatever we're going to call that movement, that, and we'll discuss it offline as well, Chef. But thank you.
And we would like to have an additional pledge, which is if Isaac is bringing the coffee, we are bringing the people.
There we go.
We would very much like.
Very good.
We would very much like to have a conversation with you when we're in Ghana in January.
Very good.
I have hands up in the room who's heard of Chef Billy Gallagher. Be honest. So 90% have heard of Dr. Billy Gallagher. Well, that's good. Dr. Billy Gallagher was president of the World Association, president of South Africa, but more importantly, he was the mentor for so many young South Africans, and his name is synonymous with young chefs, especially in the World Association. That's why we have the Bill Gallagher Forum every 2 years at Congress. It's mandated by our bylaws that the Bill Gallagher Forum is done without fail. And I had the pleasure of meeting Billy back in 2008, where he came for the Dubai Congress. I then received a call from him in 2015 and said that he's nominated me to be Congress chairman. He said, I knew you'd say yes. But I've also got a lady here, Rochelle, who is from South Africa and has more knowledge of Billy Gallagher than many of us. And I'd like some words from her about what would Billy say if Billy was here. Sorry. Yeah? There's always wiggle room. That's one of his little sayings he used to tell me. But also of what he did and what you have done for young chefs, not only in South Africa, but for also with your time with your past company as well, Rochelle.
So, thank you, Andy. On Monday morning, I had the privilege to address the young chefs on personal branding and how to leave a legacy. And I started out asking the young chefs, what is a legacy? And can you think of a chef that left a legacy? And I tried to bring that back to Bill Gallagher. What was disappointing to me, firstly, is that the chefs they've named were Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver, and all of the TV chefs, and none of the chefs that actually gave back and stood for what we stand for and what Worldchefs stand for. More disturbing to me was when I then asked them whether they've heard about Billy Gallagher. It was Alan and Kelly that said they knew who Bill Gallagher was, and none of the young chefs knew. There's work for us to be done about that, but that's not what I want to talk about. As a South African that have the privilege of living and working in Europe for the last 12 years, the one thing that I do know about South Africa, or Africa as a whole, because I've had the privilege of traveling it extensively, is that Africans don't want a handout. Africans don't want the leftovers and the scrap of the rest of the world. Africans want opportunity. They want to prove that they are worthy of playing on the world stage. So we shouldn't think of this as a charity that we're just going to give the scraps back. We need to think of this as an opportunity of providing opportunities for Africans to play in their rightful way, in a sustainable way on world stage. And that's what this should be about. So yes, that means there's a lot of resource. Yes, that means there's a lot of support that will be required. But we need to look at, if we want this to be sustainable, we need to look at it from a perspective of long-term provide people opportunity to create a livelihood for themselves out of their profession. The other aspect that I want to bring in it is that the associations can do so much, government can do so much, but we do need industry to also partner, because industry is what's going to provide the opportunity to make this commercially viable. So from my side, Sean knows I've already pledged. I'm in a privileged position that I work for an organization now that is very, very active in Africa. And here TC on stage making the commitment in terms of what we're going to do to both invest in regenerative agriculture or regenerative future from a livelihoods perspective, but also from a commitment to addressing underserved communities, environments, etc. So we all in, and Lynn, you can like take it now, that we're there to support what needs to be supported. And we look at this as putting Africa on the stage. So
thank you, Rochelle. And thank you to TC Chatterjee and the Griffiths Corporation for their pledge that Rochelle's just mentioned. I remember, I've forgotten now what I was going to say. Oh, no, can't remember. No, Billy, no. Yes, it was about Billy. In 2012, when we were in Korea, when we were in Daejeon, South Korea, 2012? Yeah, 2012. I remember we brought Anton Mosman. Now, people like me went, wow, Anton Mosman. So we had this one-on-one session with Anton Mosman. So I said to the young chefs, and we had the Bill Gallagher Forum, and it was great fun. And when Anton Mosman was coming, I said to the young chefs, I said, oh, Anton Mosman's going to speak to us, and their faces were just blank. And I realized, oh my God. So I said, and there was a lot of young American kids there as well. I said, you know Thomas Keller? Oh, yes. I said, Thomas Keller from 40 years ago. Oh, okay, you know. But it's these names that, you know, the Instagram people and the marketing people of some chefs have done a great job for them, yeah. But some of the quiet achievers like Billy Gallagher or Anton Mosman or many of the mentors that taught us in the room, they remain nameless, or they're not recognized for what they've done for us or what they've done for the industry. So, yeah, when you said that, that reminded me, you know, Anton Mosman, you know, who's Billy Gallagher? You know, and prior to Billy passing away, he said to me, he said, Andy, you just do this forum for me. I thought, Jesus. And then someone told me after he passed away, they said, if you want everything done, give it to a busy man. That's why we give it to Andy. That's why, you know. So how do you say no to a man like Billy Gallagher? And if you ever met him, yeah, you would understand where I'm coming from. Arnie.
Yeah, hello. Is it on?
Flick it up. There you go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Árni from Iceland, Vice President for the Icelandic Chef Association. I think we have a good word for what we are talking about. That's chef social responsibility.
Chef social responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And we don't talk about who's helping or whatever. It's our responsibility to help. So, yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to say.
Thank you, Arne. For the commentary, Lynn, chef's social responsibility. Right, I've talked enough. I've put enough people on the spot.
I just want to say, with regards to education, something that's kind of people don't realize, and just to, I mean, we have a war in Ukraine at the moment, and it's only been like, I don't know, about 80 or 90 days or whatever. In Africa, we've had many wars. Some of those wars have gone on for 2 decades. And in some countries, like where Chef Alex comes from in Liberia, there was no education for 18 years. Can you imagine not having to go to school for 18 years? That's a whole generation that grew up without being able to read and write. And they've had to learn to read and write, but at a disadvantaged way. If you can think about that in terms of the struggles in Africa with regards to education and things like that. It's not just about learning about chefing, it's about actually math, science, English, biology, geography. It's basics as well. So there's just such a need for education in Africa, and people are hungry for learning. And sometimes we take things for granted from where we come from, thinking the rest of the world is like where we grew up. So yeah, just to put that out as food for thought.
Sharing ideas to help. KK Yao. He's a man that's dealt with multiple associations at once. And I remember when we did the Congress in 2018, we were dealing with 5 different associations at one time. Hang on.
Running associations never easy. If only 2 of you is running so many associations, I can empathize your situation. But you did. There is a passionate job as a chef. A wonderful initiative. For me and my colleague, actually, we are working actively also on a Worldchefs committee. Yeah, Worldchefs have plenty of what you call online program or a lot of informations which you can log in and find all the helps or support there. But for me, it's working on the Worldchefs Without Border. Yesterday, we have a meeting. My committee member is there, Ani. Yeah. He is actually with Nordic Chef. He's going to Ghana. And at the same time, we also discussed the possibility of working with the Worldchefs Without Border. Yeah. With a program probably in Africa, which Ani will be the pilot this round. I think he can put up some pretty good what you call groundworks that we can put up some chef CSR project, chef social responsibility we call it, that we probably can raise some fund or educations, anything to go with it at the same time. So the last experience that we have in Myanmar, we able to bring in 100 international chefs. Yeah, that's 5 days event. They probably create like a couple of 100,000 meal. Yeah, and important is that there's a lot of funds have been raised. Of course, there are also a lot of expenses. So that can probably create some meaningful impact for our good friends in Africa. Let's make it happen, hopefully, soon. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, KK. Naughty boys have come. What else, Isaac? What else, Sean? What else do you need to hear from the people in front of you?
Well, I think the thing is that we'd like to see some structured engagement in Africa, opportunities where we can maybe do skills training or things like that, where we can maybe commit to even if it's like a 2-week period or something, almost like World Chefs Cooks World Cooks Tour Against Hunger, almost like a World Cooks Tour for Education or something like that. It was for skills development, where we come to a country and engage in creating meals for a gala dinner, but at the same time using it for skills development. So teaching basic skills and skills transfer, forming those relationships. Maybe there are opportunities for us to do a couple of structured events like that throughout Africa. I'm keen to hear if people are... Rochelle, Andy?
Various hotels. Okay, they all worked in various hotels for a 2-week period, I think it was. And during that 2-week period, they were cooking dishes of their local for their own countries. They were learning about the local ingredients. They were reinterpreting those local ingredients in their classical dishes. It was like a fusion type experience. But I had the privilege at that stage, working in my first professional job as a commie, working along the chefs from Australia at the time. And it was an incredible learning experience, and I still have the book with all the recipes and everything from that, like the printouts of everything. But I think that type of model can really work, Sean, and it's maybe something that we need to explore further in terms of how do we create a lot of excitement about this, how do we create a lot of awareness, and then how do we connect a fundraising to this, so this whole initiative pays for itself, but also raises sufficient funds to enable us to drive some of these forums, because it's going to take funds to make this happen. You know, so let's take bounce some thoughts off, and let's see what we can get to this. But I do think that we're not going to get this done just by donations. We'll have to think of a concerted effort to raise a certain amount of funds that will then enable us to pay for some of these things that need to happen. You know, so from a company perspective, yes, we can bring money to the party, but we can't bring enough money to really get it going. There will have to be something that we'll need to do to raise funds from community, fundraising, you know, internet. We heard this morning about blockchain and, you know, NTFs, or what did they call them, Andy? I don't know, you know. But we'll have to be creative in terms of finding a way to then raise what we need in order to pull off what we need to pull off.
Yeah.
So I asked Lynn to write down Worldchefs Tour for Education, so we'll add that to the list. It's not how long the list is going to be, it's going to be what we can do on the list, yeah?
Yeah. But I think, as Rochelle says, it's not just all about the money, it's actually about the skills transfer, it's about the friendship, it's about the that support and that backing of actually helping to establish the teams and the structures and the support and the sustainability of the organizations, of the associations in Africa. So it's very important that, and it's simple things like also maybe you've got somebody who does website design in your country, that you can help a country in Africa get their website up and running, because that costs money and time, and we it might just be something that you already have, and you can outsource that and bless an association in Africa with a website. Things like that are practical, and you can put your association logo on the website with that, as, you know, twinning together, you know, supporting, adopting that, you're building those relationships and networks. So those are just some practical suggestions, that it doesn't cost a lot of money to do things. It's just to start with different things that you can support with. Andy doing his run again.
I'm going to leave a microphone with Rochelle. Hang on a minute. Save me little legs.
You had a slide with some of the things, just contextually headline, what those type of things are: education, skills, equipment,
Can we
etc.
put them back up?
But can we maybe have as a first action a type of more detailed scoping of what those things would be? You know, like, I know we've had some conversations around skills to run a meeting, to write like a strategy, to do a budget, to operate Excel, to do a website. But I think the challenge is often that people that have got those things don't even know that others don't have access to those things. And if we can just write those things out, it's so much easier then to go to our partner organization to say, hey, you've got a great IT department. Would one of your IT guys be able to help us with this? Or, you've got a great financing team. Can you help us with a simple Excel template for a budget that we can use? But if you don't know what those things are, it's very difficult to go to people to say, we need your help. Well, help with what? Make it concrete, make it tangible, make it explicit. And then it's easy to people will easily commit and agree to something if they know exactly what you're asking them from, where it starts and where it ends. But if you just ask, I need your help, they don't know how long the arm is that they need to give. And then it's like very difficult to say, okay, we can commit or what we can give it. So that would be my recommendation. If we can start unpacking those and to say, make it as explicit as we can. We need a website for the association in Ghana that's going to start up on that date. We need to have like a logo for this organization. And then it's easy to find people that can do those things. But just to have a list of like that, it's really difficult as an organization or even as a sponsor company to commit to something because you don't know what the full scope of it is.
I think that's something that maybe, Andy, what we can do is create that list and circulate it yourself. And if you want to be like the king link pin on the driving what we need, I don't know, suggestion?
I will commit to being the link.
There we go.
I will be the link. But
Thank
I think
you.
you need, as Rochelle says, we need to put meat on the bones.
Yeah, we can put the meat on the bones.
Lack of what? Culinary education.
Yeah.
Lack of culinary education on molecular gastronomy, or lack of culinary education on hygiene, food safety,
Yes.
tourism, cuisine. What is it that we want? And to Eric's point, where he went to India and ate on the floor and ate great meals, went to the palaces, but the kids didn't think about it. What is the tourism cuisine that maybe be needed in Liberia or Togo? I was lucky enough to go to Sudan in 94, 95. Most interesting country to visit, yeah? And I remember we all went to an outside catering at the vegetable company's boss's house. And it was wonderful. It was great. We had cultural shows from the 7 parts of Sudan. It was really, really interesting. And then they gave us tap water. So all the Sudanese were fine, except the poor 2 European ladies that couldn't get out of bed. But I got a stomach like iron, so it didn't really affect me, yeah? But what is the level of culinary education for tourism in Liberia, Ghana, Togo, or whatever? Yes, in South Africa and Kenya, you have all the big game parks that have these 5-star luxury hotels, and a bit to the point of the lobsters going past the guests, right? You know, what can be eaten, yeah, in Liberia or Ghana by the average tourist without scaring them, yeah? I'm not too sure what I ate in Sudan some nights, but it was interesting, yeah? But, you know, that's what it's about. But so lack of culinary education, what is it? Which skills? What sponsorship for what? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chef. Just to introduce myself, I'm Chef Sizwe. I'm from South Africa, together with the wonderful delegation that is presenting today. So I'm so happy that we are having this platform, because I think it gives us, that opportune moment to actually express our feelings and also, table our challenges as Africa. And I do respect your points that you are laying out on the table, but I think my opinion as far as Africa is concerned, and being someone that has actually worked in the corporate world for the past decade or so, I think we've always had a challenge whereby, we tend we are fragmented. You know, we are not working as one family, and that is very, very important. I do appreciate you, gentlemen, for actually, you know, taking these steps in making sure that we become that. So hopefully that's something that is going to be, you know, driven going forward. And if you are to ask me, you know, Africa is a continent that is full of a lot of talent. And I can tell you right now, there's people that can obviously create websites. So, and as you are saying, we need to be very clear exactly what we are asking for and why we are asking for it. There's people that are talented. We have a lot of programmers, we have a lot of web developers, young African talent. I think we need to come up with a structure of working together. I think that's what we need to promote. It's not that we can't type. We can type, of course. We have people that can develop websites. We have people that can develop logos. We have people that do that for as a career. So we need to be very specific what we are asking for and how we are asking for it. I think from my side, if we could champion and really promote the spirit of working together, I think we'll change how we approach Africa. The other thing as well that I would definitely like to suggest is that let's find more opportunities of engaging corporates. And if I'm talking about corporates, your food production companies. I'm sure you, Chef Sean, will know about this. Food production companies have what you call CSI projects. They have budgets. If not close to millions, I don't know, annually, where they sponsor different culinary programs. You have none of all the culinary programs that we have had. I think we need to kind of like excel in making sure that we approach your corporate companies, your food production companies. They are all over South Africa. I mean, we buy from them. Let's approach them more. With all our plans that we have, let's engage them in each and every event that is planned for the African continent. Money is there. We just need to come up with a strategic approach on how to approach them and really be clear on what we are looking for from them. And I can tell you as a fact, they're actually willing to sponsor these programs each and every time. This is what we do as a company. We approach companies, and they're always willing to sponsor. I think we don't approach them enough. So if we could really excel on that, knock on each and every door of these companies, we'll probably come up with something. There's a lot of them. Nestle, McCain, Unilever, Parmalat, which is now Lactalis. There's a lot of companies, you know, global companies for that matter, that can sponsor this program. That much I know for a fact. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chef. Chef, I accept your invite for the introduction to those companies, okay?
I'll definitely talk to you.
I think I just need to say something here. We are not asking for nothing much, or we are not asking for anything. But let me share an experience with you. When we were approaching some of the countries, I remember last month, like I said, we were in Rwanda. Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't approach the country, you don't see what they are needed for, or what is their problem. Rwanda has everything. Right now, MasterCard Foundation is working with them. Mm. So they have a lot of funds and other stuff to work with. But the problem is their legal status doesn't allow chefs or a group of people to form an association. So Rwanda just needs, how can we mobilize the people and what name should we use? They don't need anything. So when we get there, we were like, if you don't need association, the word association, you can have society or alliance. So why don't you put yourself together as Rwandan Chefs Alliance? And within that moment, we were able to make sure that we put all those chefs within the country together, and at the same time help them with normal administrative work. That is all what they need. They don't need anything. Just 2 weeks ago, I was in South Africa in Durban. We met DRC Congo, one of their top government officials. And it's like, Chef, we don't know how to start from. So if you are ready to support us, why not? So that is all what we need. Some, not only to design a website, but if you don't approach them, you will know what is their need and how best you can able to support them. That is why we said some need skill development, other need whatever. So how best can we work together to make sure that we position those countries? Thank you.
Thanks, Chef.
I think we should have a group photograph
Sure.
Yeah,
to demand commitment.
indeed.
Everyone should be on the stage and standing on the floor, and I'll go and find Nick on wherever she is. But I see some lads in orange shirts with big cameras, so they look official.
Yes.
But first, Chef Andy, we actually want you up here for a traditional African ceremony.
Dear me, that sounds ominous.
Come up here and take your clothes off. No, don't worry.
Where's the kneeling stool?
Spare us.
Where's Ragnar? There's really no need.
Alex?
You're too kind.
Chef Alex wants to present to you. Yeah, you can see.
I have a microphone somewhere. Thanks, Chef. Yeah, that looks about right.
We
Triple
heard
XL.
the gala dinner is a bit like
Yeah.
bland, so we've given you some official attire.
Fantastic.
Okay, on behalf of the African Chef Alliance and the Liberian Professional Chefs Association, in Africa, when we do, I think Chef Smith been to Africa a lot, we prefer to honor people, but giving you our seal first on behalf of our government, you can hang it in your office. That is the seal of the Republic of Liberia.
Thank you. Thank you.
And by tradition, we will ask
You're gonna have to
our
hold this one.
social responsibility chairman for Africa to count you as. Yes, very well, chef. Yes.
There you go.
You are a paramount chief of the Republic of Liberia. Yeah. And I'm so sorry we don't have Awi here. We also have the gown for Awi. We will present that to you
Well done.
for all
Nice
more submission to Awi. Yeah. We want to say
Yeah, thank you.
Awi, the Emirate Culinary
Uvi.
Guard President. Yeah.
For Chef Uvi.
Sure. Yeah.
We can be twins.
Yeah, that's it. You were trained for us, so thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, this is beyond anything that I ever expect, yeah, but it's a beautiful tradition, it's part of the culture. And to learn from each other, this is priceless, yeah? This, for me, will be one of the great memories of the Congress 2022. And thank you all so much. If we can all stand in the middle, then all of you good people come and join us for a photograph, please, yeah? Because I'd like to recognize all of you for coming back after lunch and being here with us, yeah? And thank you
Yeah.
for your attendance to the African Forum.
Thank you.
Some can go on the stage, some can be up, some can be down. Call Nick on. Where's Nick on? Oh, we'll hold it, huh? And we've got something for you guys as well. Isaac, a small certificate, Sean, representation also from us as Worldchefs, just for you to remember us as well. Some people up on the stage, some people down. Eric, you're tall. Alex. Alex, come next to Isaac, please. Elkin, can I have Alex next to Isaac, please? Yeah. I'll stand with the girls. Much better. Come, come, my friends. Come, ladies. Wake up the ones at the back.